And welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Bart Curtis TV show. This is week number 4, and the Tigers squared off with Elkhart Memorial up at Elkhart this last Friday night and came away with a victory. But, Coach, it was a tight one, and it really didn't start out that way. Give us kind of your overview of things.
It was one of those games, Dave, where it didn't feel like it was a tight game, and then but you still had that uneasy feeling because of the number of athletes and the amount of speed they have.
They're explosive.
They are, and the way that they can throw the football, which is quite honestly not our strength right now, defending passing plays. I thought that, we came out early, and obviously we had a 21-0 lead, which at that point, early in the second quarter,
I think we're all feeling like we're in control.
Yeah, it felt like we were in control. And the ebb and flow of a game and the manner in which things happened, as quickly as things go right for you, they can turn on you. And, that was obviously apparent Friday night. We're up 21-0, and we're playing great defense after dropping a punt early. We scored 3 times, and then they come out and they throw a little out route. And we missed a couple tackles, took some bad angles, and next thing you know, they're in the end zone. It's 21-7. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, at that point, they had decided to quit throwing the football, and it's 21-7. How big was that field goal before half?
It keeps showing up.
Yeah, every play matters. So being able to get the ball down the field and kick a field goal to end the half, to make it 24-7. You don't have a crystal ball, but how big was that?
Yeah.
That was the difference in the game.
Absolutely.
And then the second half came out, and I felt like if we come out and we punch one more in and make it 31-7, that they will go away.
Right.
But I should have known better, because Coach Scott Shaw has been doing this as long as I have, maybe longer. So he's a solid, great football coach who has won a state championship in Michigan, who took Fort Wayne to a 12-1 season.
That's right.
Just a few years back. And when they abandoned the running game completely, and said, we're going to throw the ball on you, obviously that gave us trouble. And the next thing you know, it's 24-14.
Right.
It's 24-21. Late in the third quarter, and now it's like, or early in the fourth quarter, and now it's like, we are going to have to put a drive together. And it ended up having to be 2 drives. We score to make it 31-21. Still a lot of time left in the game. They come back, and in 2 plays, they're in the end zone. So now it's 31-28. So now we got to go back and do it again. And we were fortunate enough to do that, have long sustained, really darn near perfect offensive drives.
I agree.
To make it 38-28, and they still wouldn't go away. And they hit the receiver to the field away from trips on a post, and now it's 38-35. We had to recover 2, not 1, but 2 onside kicks.
Right.
Because the first one, they said we had a 12 on there, which we did not.
That's
And
we want to point that out to everybody. It was not foul.
We didn't know it wasn't, but somehow the guy on their side was convinced that we had 12 on the field, which we did not. We put the same group back out there, and this time they only counted 11. And they're all small, so it didn't like they could call one of them twice.
Right.
We got our 11 smallest kids out there. So we were fortunate to recover that, run out the game, and sneak out of there with a 38-35 to win. And that's one of those where you're talking to your kids at the end of the game, and they've got these serious, worried looks on their face.
Right.
And rightfully so, because it could have easily gone the other way.
Sure. Let's talk about some of the individual performances there in the first half there. Of course, Juan is, and as we're talking, I'm rolling tape underneath us here, so the people will see some of his work. I mean, well, first of all, I forget how many carries he got, but
42.
He had 42 carries, and he had 249 yards, something like that.
He did.
I mean, he just carried the mail all night long.
I think he had 3, maybe even 4 touchdowns.
At least 3, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a man-child out there again. And starting to run with a good forward lean. Still need to have him not try and reach the ball out at the goal line.
Right.
You know, I wish these kids wouldn't watch NFL or college where they do that. How many times do you see that happen where it gets knocked out? Fortunately, he had crossed the goal
Right.
line.
As I saw that on film, I thought, oh, he fumbled the ball and then we recovered. But then I realized he had broken the plane, so he had scored the touchdown already.
He had.
Yeah.
So, but he hit the holes nice. He had a little shimmy on his outside veer. We moved our fullback dive out 1 hole wider, which is unique. That's something we did on the fly, and it was highly effective.
Right.
Not very often do I make a change or suggest a change that turns out to be highly effective. Usually it's the other way around. So I was pleased that
We all know that's not true.
So I was pleased that was highly successful. And you know, if you go back and you watch the film and you watch Mr. Adamito run, his pad level, he is starting to flatten his pads out instead of standing straight up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We moved him up a skosh. We felt like he was a little deep at the fullback position, and that helped. So we moved him up to 3.5 yards instead of 4.5 yards.
Yeah, he's a powerful force out there. He really is.
And then, you know, our quarterback, Wyatt Amiss, sprains his ankle.
Right.
Made a nice run, picked up 25 yards or whatnot, and turned his ankle. We tried to get him through. He came out the first series, and he just couldn't run the things that we felt like we need to run, which is a quarterback running.
Right.
And then Aaron Green came in, did a very nice job.
Yeah. I thought that when Aaron came in there, as you were watching there, I mean, he just stepped right in and took over.
He did. And
that's great.
Yeah, and that's, you know, the hundreds and literally thousands of reps that he and Wyatt and Julius Jones and the rest of those guys have taken throughout the course of the summer. It does. And you never know when your number is going to be called. You never know when you're going to be needed to do a job. And
well, Julius came in for a Marsh, and
he did.
And Julius for a sophomore, I thought he conducted himself really well.
He did. And here's the funny thing about having somebody that's green. He doesn't realize the magnitude of the situation we're in. We're trying to hang on to a lead. He's just going out there and having fun and playing football. And, you know, that there's something very innocent and really kind of neat about that. You know, there's no pressure on him. He just goes out and does what he does.
Right.
And Aaron did the same thing.
Oh, I absolutely agree with him.
How about that job by our 6 old linemen?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We went unbalanced every snap. Griffin Reed, Kyle Miller, Jake Dessenberg, Brock Huber, Austin Meads, and Angel Mendez. And we went with an unbalanced set literally the entire second half toward our sideline and ran the majority of those plays toward our sideline. That's kind of my comfort zone.
Well, I never thought, though, I mean, as I watched, and of course I'm going through the clips and stuff, each one of them and all that kind of stuff. I never thought that the offensive line really let down through the whole game. I mean, there's always some, you know, slips here and there, but generally speaking, it was if people will watch our offensive line, they are out 2-3 yards into the defense, usually before the defense reacts. It's remarkable.
That's ideally what we'd like to do.
Right.
Doesn't always happen that way, but they come off
by
together.
and large.
They were, you know, we played 6 seniors on the O-line the entire game, and these are kids that you guys have been working with for 4 years, and they're not big overly, other than Dessenberg.
Yeah.
Griffin Reed has some girth to him.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, we're not very big up front, and they do a really nice job of understanding who to block and who not.
Yeah, and I think also for people that are, you know, really watch football and stuff, their technique is what gives them an edge. I mean, from day one, you know, and Michael and Brady just do a great job, and that's why I always enjoy bringing the freshmen over there when we have our SOS period, because they get to be with them and see the kids how they're doing it, and they start to imitate them.
Yeah.
And that's huge for us as freshman coaches to have the kids be able to do that, and then the older kids can demonstrate it to them.
And that's what we hope happens, and you know, it's kind of there's the teams within the teams, which is healthy.
Sure.
You know, you never want to pit defense against offense or offense and defense against the kicking game or backs against linemen. But the linemen are kind of the they're the do everything together guys.
Right. Absolutely. And they're very proud of it too, as they should be. As they should be.
And speaking of linemen, we want to send our prayers out to our center's mother. Brock Huber's mom was in a accident on the way to work Saturday morning. She has a broken hip and her knees messed up and some broken ribs and lacerations, and she's been through one surgery, and I believe she's going to have one, possibly even two more from the last report I had. I did talk to her this morning along with her father and Brock, and she's in Lutheran Hospital in Fort Wayne, and our best to her. She's she's a dynamo supporter, and one of our football club moms, and our senior representative, and she's a go-getter.
Absolutely. She certainly is. We wish her the best and for a quick recovery here. Coach, we don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but we did get banged up a little bit in the game, but nothing too serious there. But there's nothing good about that. But what is good is how, as we just mentioned, the kids that stepped in, it was next up and took over and just did a great job. So that's a great thing.
And one thing before we go there, I defensively, it looks like we played poorly.
Right.
We did they had 13 yards, 14 yards rushing on 13 carries. We stopped their base offense, which is more of a wing tee-ish buck sweep, power read, jet read type thing. And the bad part of that is we made them do what they
would rather not necessarily.
Well, maybe they're going to do that.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe so. You're right.
So we've got some things to shore up in the secondary, and with our coverages, and we did not get a good pass rush in the least bit. But I'm not completely mortified by the effort. I thought it was a quality effort. I just think there were some technique breakdowns.
Right.
And once their fast kids got the ball in their hands, you saw what happened.
Oh, absolutely.
But, so injury-wise, some of them are fairly significant. But we played 4 games. We had a scrimmage. We've done summer stuff, and we've got a few kids, here and there, ankles.
Right.
We've got some shoulder issues going on. But, I have all the faith in Corey Branham and Cassie Ehrenman, and that they will mend these kids back to health. Yeah.
Absolutely. Coach, let's turn our attention. We're 3-1 there, 1-1 in the conference, and we got a conference game coming up. Northridge, the Raiders are coming to town. Coach Tom Wagaman and his crew, he always does a really great job up there, so we can expect their best.
They're rock solid. Well-coached team. Just very fundamentally sound, not flashy. If you don't take care of closing your gaps and if you run up the field, you're going to get trapped miserably. Because they are a trapping team. They're a kind of a veer read team, a midline read team. They'll run some jet stuff, and they're dangerous throwing the football. Not flashy, not a lot of wild passing concepts, but just solid football team. And on defense, they're the same way. They're scrappy.
Right.
They're not going to be out of position.
They got a little size, too.
They do on both sides of the ball. And they don't miss a lot of tackles. So it's going to be, and they've got a good kicker, not as good as ours, but they have a good kicker.
Right.
So it's going to be, we're going to have our hands full. And we need to have a great week of preparation.
Right. Well, Coach, we certainly wish you the best of luck there. We want to encourage everyone here as you're watching the show. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock for the Northern Lakes Conference games, and we are at home at Fisher Field. We want everyone to get out here and just, go crazy and support the Tigers. A lot of the, I have Daytona Hill is my other film guy. We need to talk to him about, because those shots that you see at the beginning of the show and a lot of the shots you see during the show are shots that Daytona took with the camera. And then, of course, we use some of our own shots from our huddle program that no one really knows about, but Someday I'll tell you about it if you want to ask me. But anyway.
Daytona's a former old lineman.
Yeah.
Former Wild Hog. And it's great to have him, to see him back involved in our program in that capacity. Because I know that's a passion of his.
Yeah, oh yeah.
His video editing. And he loves football, so he's able to combine those two things and help out the program.
Yeah. Well, my point getting to him, though, so when you see him with the camera there and he's in the fans and stuff, wave and, do all the crazy things that fans do there, because we use that stuff as our B-roll footage for lots of different things in the Bart Curtis Show. So anyway, Coach, thanks for being with us. The best of luck to you.
Thank you, Dave, and go Tigers.
Absolutely. Go Tigers. And welcome back to the Bart Curtis Show. We're talking to Zach DeFord right now, who's a member of the defensive team for the Warsaw Tigers. He is, in fact, a middle linebacker, although last night against Elkhart Memorial, we got to play some different positions. But let's talk first about your experience in playing football. When did you start playing and all that kind of stuff?
I started playing football when I was in 3rd grade at Young Tigers. And I've just fell in love with it ever since then.
All right. So as you moved on through the grades and stuff like that, started playing freshman ball, and when did you kind of figure out that, hey, defense is kind of the side of the ball I want to be on rather than offense?
Because I don't like taking hits, I like giving them.
Well, and that's pretty obvious by some of the hits that you deliver out there. All right, let's talk about specifically the season so far. For you, how do you feel the season's been going?
I feel like the season's been going really good. I mean, like, the energy's there, effort's there. I mean, we're doing really well. It's just we need to clean up just a few things, like missed tackles, and that's about it. I mean, our pursuit is great. It's fun.
Absolutely. And we see that all across the program, even down at the freshman level. Our pursuit is good, gang tackling, that kind of thing. Obviously, tackling was a bit of a problem against Plymouth, but last night seemed to be cleaned up a little bit. A great majority of, as a matter of fact, there. So the Tigers are definitely improving each day. Tell us a little bit about, your approach to the game before it starts. I mean, do you have a little ritual you go through? You listen to music? I mean, or is there anything in particular you do?
I listen to my music. I just keep on thinking in my head, just remember the scouting reports and all that, and just get hyped up with my team.
Okay, Zach. Well, the Tigers are now 3-1 on the season there. Northridge is next. What do you got any ideas about what to look for or what the goal is when obviously is to win against Northridge, but the Raiders usually will bring a fight to the game.
We won't let them bring a fight.
All right, Zach. Hey, thanks for being with us. We're proud of the Warsaw Tigers, proud of what you guys are doing. Keep up the good work, and we'll be back with more of the Bart Curtis Show right after this. And welcome back, everyone. We're now talking to Keagan Larsh, who is one of our offensive players, and specifically an A-back for us, I believe, is for the most part there. Keagan, let's talk a little bit about your start in football and when you really got started and involved in football in your career.
Well, I played Young Tiger as a elementary school kid, and then I played middle school, and then I did not play my freshman or sophomore year, but I came back my junior year, and it was one of the best decisions of my life to come back and play. I've loved it.
Well, we're pretty glad you did that too, because you got some really good speed out there, and definitely know what you're doing and are learning more as you go through the season here as far as it goes to playing football. So it's been a good thing for everybody involved. Let's talk specifically about another thing I did want to mention here. Of course, I had Zach on a little bit before you, and he talked about his experience at the Young Tiger program, and we're going to talk to the Young Tiger coaches and players here later on in the season, but was that something that, where were you placed and all that kind of stuff when you were playing the Young Tiger football? What did they do with you?
They just kind of put me wherever. I remember I played defensive end a little bit and a little bit of corner and like a tight end back then, but it was just kind of, they just threw you wherever and just see what you could do. Just really fun, just like get to learn football more than just like play. You kind of just were learning the basics of it back then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as far as it goes to now, I mean, do you have a preference? I mean, obviously you're an offensive player, but what about defense and that kind of thing? Are you okay with that too?
Oh yeah, I love defense. I haven't played it that much. I played in middle school defense, but last year I didn't play, and I played in the Michigan City. It was my first start at safety, and then I played a little bit in the Plymouth game, and I played maybe 4 snaps last night. But it's something like I want to learn, but it's a learning experience, and it's hard when I didn't play like my freshman and sophomore year. It's hard to
Right.
kind of did that to myself, but I mean, I want to learn and
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, let's talk about last night specifically. Elkhart Memorial did present some challenges. They got some guys with some speed, just like you have some speed. What's your overall take on the whole football game itself?
We started really good, and we had a hot start, and then the second half. I mean, it was a great first quarter and first half, but the second half they really came out with some fire, and they switched up their defense, and I think we adjusted to it pretty good. But yeah,
The way they attacked on their offense changed up quite a bit too.
Right,
They
yeah,
went to a passing offense.
right, yeah, their offense changed in the second half too, and they were passing a lot, and it was hurting our defense. But yeah, we got the job done.
Got the job done. 38-35 was the final score. Let's talk for a moment here about coming up Northridge. You guys haven't seen any tape on Northridge yet, have you?
I have not, no. I mean, I just remember the games last year, but
Right.
yeah.
Also, one thing I want to talk to people about here, because I just pulled you out of the film session, we spend a lot of time with the different, the defense and offense and even special teams here looking at tape. Do you find that really valuable to you?
Oh, absolutely. I can see, like, when we watch our own games, I can see what I did wrong and what I did right, and so I know what to do better, like insertings and like load blocks or switch blocks. It helps like a lot, so much more than like I think people would really know if they didn't play football and stuff.
Absolutely. Keegan, Larsh, thanks for being with us. We really appreciate everything you do on the football team. We're all proud of you guys and what's getting done out there. Everything about it, everything from our practice sessions, our summer sessions, and all the things that we do to prepare for the season. And Northridge is next, and we certainly wish you guys the best of luck as you square off with the Raiders here at home next Friday night. That'll be at 7 o'clock. Thanks for being with us, Keegan.
Of course. Thank you.